Founders Team, episode 2. This is honestly just to give you context surrounding the challenges as it related to accounts receivable this year, our ability to receive payment, and our ability to record keep. It involves historical context prior to 2024, of which I've listed above, as well as will frame some expectations moving forward at the end of the year. So, first things first. Earlier this year, I found out, and really it was later last year, that we had not done a good job, or what would be considered a best-in-class job, of allocating administrative and behind-the-scenes people. It's very, very easy to allocate service providers and non-service providers that are at locations. The way that our bookkeeper had been doing things had just been dividing everybody by the amount of locations we had who were behind the scenes. This is obviously not best practice as an individual. If you think about your admin support, Randy, Lindsay, Alex, Brianna, and individuals who've served in this position historically, such as Jin and Yuri, should be allocated on more of a per visit allocation or a breakout. So you want to be in a situation where you take a salary, and you're not dividing it by the number of locations, but you're dividing it by the locations that they're working at and the amount of visits that are going on at that location, making sure that you're proportionately allocating their compensation. So there was some backtracking that started at the end of the year last year that carried over into 2024. This was all while we were undergoing our transition away from WebPT. Just so you know, WebPT used to do all of our billing. This is called full service billing. Then we got to a point last year, early in the year, where we had our fourth escalation. This is where our AR, total AR, percentage AR over our 30-day breakouts, days outstanding or days in AR, all were abnormal. They were outside of expectations, so we decided to take them more in-house July 1st last year in 2023. That's hybrid. That was called RevEquip. We were doing more, and we were working with them to get things done. Needless to say, the last 6 months of the year in 2023 were not good. People came to me, particularly Jin and Yuri, who said, hey, we need to leave. Things are not going well. We received certain information from individuals we have had relationships for a long period of time of things going on behind the scenes there, and we made the decision to leave. So we started our transition. Really, we signed the dotted line at the end of October. We prepped in November. You all started getting more information from us around this time period, and especially in the month of December, as we started out our Jan 1 go live date, and this corresponded with us also bringing billing in-house. So the thing that you need to be mindful of is when we went with Prompt, and then we started doing in-house billing, we actually had to still do cleanup on WebPT's mess from last year. There was a considerable amount of money in AR. So we have new staff doing things for in-house billing. We're doing in-house billing in Prompt, learning a new system, and we're backtracking and doing cleanup in WebPT. New staff, new process, new system, backtrack old system. That in itself would be very, very challenging for people to do in real time. And then we had Change Healthcare in about the third week, I think, of March. And that was a 90-day window where the normal technology efficient process of taking a visit, claim, communicating with the payer, getting paid, us having a very, very easy job of record keeping, became a lot more manually driven because there was a disruption. The good part about this is from a cash flow standpoint, it didn't affect us significantly because there was a certain amount of claims that were still getting paid. Some didn't get paid, but there was a certain amount of claims that were still going through and getting paid, and the disruption was on the record keeping side of things. So our team was learning new process in terms of learning how to be in-house billers, doing things in Prompt and WebPT, and also adding to their plate a period of time in which they were having to do things with more friction, a lot more friction, because they did not have a technology enabled or technologically efficient way to do their normal record keeping process. Then, it's no secret, Yuri leaving was challenging for us. She was probably the biggest exit that we've had in a long time that has created a disruption in terms of how we are operating. Jennifer and Monica elevated. This was still a process where we're working in two systems, but there was a learning curve there. We then fully left WebPT as a system the end of July. So we finally just transferred what was left over from WebPT into Prompt. Jennifer and Monica are kind of co-leading this department of our company still. And all of the stuff got pushed to Prompt. Still working out of it. You know, we had set a timeline of the end of November. There was another disruption from a clearinghouse standpoint in September. That was, again, just a little bit of a curveball. But at this point in time, with all of this information, we have accurate books. We're just doing some double checking as it relates to Change Healthcare, double checking as it relates to some of our previous allocations, and making sure that we are able to present to everyone, ideally by the end of October, accurate books for the first time in a long time. Now, when I say accurate books, are you going to have end of quarter 3? No, because if you go back to episode 1, there's a lag period. We are ideally going to have quarter 1 and quarter 2 books to you. So not just end of 2023, quarter 1 this year, quarter 2 this year. And we're working as fast as we can to ensure that we will have quarter 3. But given the fact that it just finished, honestly, we shouldn't expect quarter 3's books to be done anytime soon. That typically would be like a November or December conversation. So then when we talk about things moving forward, we should be back to baseline where if a year finishes, 2024, December 31st, we're closing. We're looking to get everything updated, and it should be out to you in February or March. If you speak to Zach from a historical standpoint, this is typically when we were able to get that information out and get profit sharing checks out. All of you are in a position where your office is getting out of debt. So this relates to you having a better idea of where things stand in terms of how far in debt your location may be, or how close it might be potentially climbing out. But this video ideally gives you a better understanding and definitely gives some grace to what's been going on behind the scenes. Jen has been a big part of this. All of your admin support has been a big part of it. Our overseas staff. I've learned way more about billing this year than I originally thought that I would. And overall, Jennifer and Monica are doing an exceptional job, especially looking at where our AR KPIs are. But a lot has gone on. I want to continue the conversation here, but episode 1 and episode 2 kind of play in to some of the delays that we've experienced this year, concerns some of you all may have had and potentially express them to me, or at least might have on the back of your mind. But I want you to ask questions. If I didn't explain something here as well as I could have, please let me know.